to fill in a table of values, we're going to draw this graph. So we'll put in 0, 1, 2, and then we get -3, -1, and 1. Plot these points on the graph on your right. 0, -3 is over here, then there, and join the dots together, you get a line. Okay? Alright, so that's the graph drawn. So what you need to do, once you drew the graph, please write down what the y-intercept is, what the gradient is. Do that right now. Alright, all done? Yes? Let's do this. Okay, let's look at the first question. Gradient. What's the gradient? How do you measure gradient? Do rise over run, so you can draw a right angle triangle. So it's 4/2, and the gradient is 2, right? And what's the y-intercept? -3. So you see that the y-intercept corresponds to this number. That's your y-intercept. And the gradient corresponds to the number in front of x. So we'll now have a formula for the equation of a line. The equation of line is y equal to mx plus b. The m has a meaning, which is the gradient. The b has a meaning, is the y-intercept. So now I could work out the gradient and the y-intercept just by looking at the equation. Okay, sit down. Find the gradient and the y-intercept of the linear function. So what's the gradient? What's the y-intercept? You can just read it off. Katie, what's the gradient? 7. And Lisa, what's the y-intercept? -5. Be careful, the negative goes with it. Alright, once we do that, we'll do the next question. Now, what's the gradient and the y-intercept? So what you need to do is to make y the subject. Okay, so you have to rearrange to make y the subject. So move the 2x to the right. So write 3y equal to -2x plus 6. You have to make y the subject before you can write down the gradient and the y-intercept. Divide by 3. -2/3x plus, what's 6 divided by 3? 2. Got it? Now I could write down the gradient and the y-intercept. Anthony, what's the gradient? I'll give you some time. Perfect. Let me ask someone else. What's the y-intercept? Anika? 2. Good. Alright, easy. Okay. Next, we'll do the next question. Find the equation of the line with the gradient 2 and the y-intercept -3. So to do that, that's pretty easy. Write down the formula. That's your gradient. That's your y-intercept. So you got -3. So your answer is this. Does that make sense? Pretty easy. Gradient, and the y-intercept. Any question? Very straightforward. We've got 2 more pages to go. Let's go to the next page. Next page. Okay. Good. Alright, let's do the next question. Find the equation of the line having inclination 135, y-intercept of 2. Now to find the gradient, you do tan of the angle of the inclination. So do that on a calculator. Tan 135, or you can do it without a calculator. That's -1, because it's in the second quadrant. -1, and we've got the y-intercept of 2. So therefore, the equation is y equal to mx plus b. What's m? -1, which is x, -x, plus 2. Does that make sense? All good? Next question, exactly the same. All right, how do you find the angle again? Let me ask someone else. Nat, how do you find gradient? How do you find gradient? Yep, that's a good formula, but in this question, what would be a better way to do it? They gave you the angle, tan 60. Now, if you use a calculator, it does not give you the exact value. How do you get the exact value? Reference sheet. What does the reference sheet say? Root 3. So the gradient is root 3, and we got the one step of -4. So what's the equation? Y equal root 3x minus 4. So be careful, the gradient formula doesn't always work. Sometimes you have to use this formula for gradient, tan of the angle, and you should know all your exact values. All right, any question about gradient intercept form? So it's very easy. We'll give you the gradient, and the one step, you can work out the equation straight away. Next, we're going to learn a new form called the general form, which you haven't learned last year. Let's look at what that means. If you have, that's very good. If not, then listen again. All the forms of equation learned so far can be simplified into this general form, okay? Where the x and y term and the constant term are all on the left. We make sure that the a and b and c are integers with the coefficient of x always made positive. So usually, if the equation contains fractions, it should be written in the general form. For example, write this in general form. So what do? We're going to get rid of the denominator first. How do I get rid of the denominator? What do? Multiply everything by 4. In that way, we can cancel the 4. Get it? So that will be 4y equal to 3x minus 8. So your first step to write in general form is to get rid of the denominator. Once we do that, we move all terms to one side. Let's move the 3x to the other side, negative 3x plus 4y plus 8. Now it's in general form. If we make the coefficient of x positive, so multiply everything by -1, and you will get 3x minus 4y minus 8 equal to 0. That's your equation in general. And why do we need general form? That will be important later on in the course. Or we'll learn extra formulas. But now, just remember this is called general form. And need to know how to write it. Okay, let's look at, now, why is it called general form? Because any equation can be written in this form. So basically, if you got an equation like x equal to 3, you can write it in this form, right? Equal to 0. So which is in the general form 1x plus 0y minus 3, right? It's in this form ax plus by plus c. But it cannot be written in this form because there's no y in it. So you can see the general form, any equation can be written in general form, but not every equation can be written in this form. Okay, this form only works if you have a gradient. Okay? All right, any question? All right, let's look at more pages. Okay, so we'll go to the next page. We've got more questions to go through. The next form we're going to learn is called the point gradient form. That's the last form we're going to learn about equations. So there's the gradient intercept form, there's the general form, there's now the point gradient form. Let's look at how that works. Okay, so point gradient form, to find the equation of a line, we need two pieces of information, the gradient and the point through which the line passes. If the gradient of the line is m, and the point it passes through is x1, y1, then the equation is this. Now, fortunately, it is on the reference sheet. All right, this is on the reference sheet, so which is good. On reference sheet. Okay, let's use this, and then the equation can be simplified into gradient intercept form or a general form. Let's do this equation. Find the equation of a line through this point with gradient half. So we go y minus, that's your x1, y1. Yep, that's your gradient. So you go y minus y1 equal to gradient x minus x1 the point is -3 equal half x minus 1. Get the idea? And then we have to simplify it. So we're going to write it in general form because they are fractions. Let's write in general form. Now, how do I get in general form? Multiply both sides by 2. Right? That will cancel the 2 and end up getting 2y plus 6 equal to x minus 1. And to put in general form, let's move all terms to the right side. X minus 2y minus 7. That's your equation in general form. Or usually we have the 0 on the right. So you should write that as x minus 2y minus 7 equal to 0. That's in general form. Because we don't want anything on the right side should be made 0. Oh, let's try again. Okay, got it? All right. Let's do the next question. Find the equation of the line through these 2 points. Do we know the gradient? We don't. So how do we find the gradient? Rise over run using this formula. Let's use this formula. Gradient is 2 minus 7 over 6 minus 1. What would it be? Alright, use your calculator. Minus 1. We've got the gradient. Which point do we use? Doesn't matter. Let's say we use this point, x1, y1. Right? So let's use this point. You go y minus y1 equal to gradient x minus x1. Y minus 1 equal to the gradient x minus 7. Okay? This time I'm going to make y the subject because there's no fraction. Expand the -1, make y the subject, so y will be -x plus 8. Any question? In this case, I put it in the form y equal to mx plus b. Oh. Oops. No, I made a mistake. Made a big mistake. Big mistake. Sorry. Should be x minus x1, y minus 7. Now it works. That's why it looked weird. -x plus 1, and then move the 7 over. I think I still got the same answer. Alright. That's pretty fun. Oh yeah, because it's lucky because it's -1. That's why it works. And they're both, yeah. Okay. Alright. So it wasn't that bad. Yeah. 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 Say again? I don't care. I will. Okay, I'll write your note. Thank you very much. Right, can you try the next one? See if you can work out. That's hers. You borrowed from her. Okay. Do you see her today? No. Okay. All right. Can you remind me? That's Lena. She's very nice. Okay. All right. So that class PM. Hang on. With me, Mr. Choi. Continue. Find the equation of the line with y-intercept 3 and x-intercept -4. Let's look at this equation. Let's draw that. -4, 3. Okay, now what's the gradient? Gradient is 3 over 4. Right? What's the y-intercept? Do we have the y-intercept? 3. And then y equal to mx plus b. Therefore, the equation is this. Any question? I think that's all. Let's finish this. Any other questions related to the work? Any other questions?